All right, we are back. No Look Podcast. Your boy Osoy, the man, goddamn T. It's been interesting this past week with all the sports news going on. First and foremost, let me say, might have to start calling the Chief, aka Danny NASCAR, Danny Fresh, because that fade is looking nice on him.
Yeah, this is the No Look podcast featuring Austin and Tyler, not Steve and Mike.
He did
So
slip up, yeah.
although his head does look fresh with the fade, inside his cabeza is not so fresh. It's more like a rotten tomato. Um, I mean, when you're making left turns like Danny NASCAR, I guess that's the only thing that's bound to happen. So
I'm surprised dude doesn't get in more car accidents. Just like, what the fuck? How do I get over here? I can only take a left turn.
if you ever have ridden with Dan in the car, he often thinks of himself as one of the best drivers on the road in the history to date. But in fact, I mean, he just drives like a teenage girl that just got her license and she's fresh off of, drinking her Starbucks all over the road.
He's just straight reckless.
I mean, he thinks he owns the road because he's got a Durango, but the fact of the matter is, I don't know if that's the actual truth.
All right, well, exposing him here on the No Look podcast. You heard it here first. Tyler, let's jump into March Madness. There's not a lot of football news to talk about, so
Huh. Crazy.
what?
I'll allow it for we'll talk about it a little later, but
No, I'm just kidding. Let's get into it. Yeah, I mean, no secret. The
I
major
still
news this
I
past
see
week.
you still have his picture up over there.
Yeah, well, he's still my guy, so I'm not gonna trash him. I did unfollow him on Instagram, but my
No.
my my following is reserved for Packers players only. It's just bad juju. I used to follow OBJ, DK Metcalf, but only Packers players. Just trying to get the good energy, the good vibes to my Green Bay Packers. Obviously, Tyler, big news, probably the biggest news in sports this past week. Devonte Adams traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. Um, I just want to say first and foremost, Devonte, thank you for all those years of just being the best wide receiver in the NFL, being my favorite player on the Packers. Like Tyler said, I got the signed picture back there with your rookie card and a little piece of your jersey in it. It's kind of weird that it's still hanging up. I mean, I might have to put it in storage, but I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm not going to get rid of it. When he retires, it'll be a keepsake. It'll be a nice piece of memorabilia. But yeah, I mean, no hard feelings. I wish you luck. I don't necessarily wish your team and organization luck, but you personally, I hope you keep the stats up and keep making the Pro Bowls, what have you. But yeah,
Such a glorious St. Patrick's Day. I was out with my girlfriend at like a St. Patrick's Day event. I get the text or the notification Devante Adams has been traded to the Raiders. And luckily there was live music being played. Otherwise, I would have been the loudest person there. Screamed at the top of my lungs. I was super happy that it actually happened. I know there was like a little bit of rumors. He bought a house in Las Vegas. He was a free agent to be, but the Packers were going to sign him. A lot of people were connecting him to Las Vegas and reuniting with Derek Carr. But for it to finally go through, um, absolutely riveting. Probably my favorite free agent signing in the past probably 15 years of my life for all my sports teams. The other one, notably, Vince Carter coming to the New Jersey Nets back in 2004. I think that was the first time I ever had an erection as a human being. So that
all right.
was that was incredible. But Devonte Adams, Raiders, Austin. My question is, Packers offered him more money, right?
No, it's the same contract.
Same contract. Why do you think he chose to not agree to that contract, therefore then getting traded?
Um, I mean, I guess at this point in his career, who knows behind the scenes if anything happened with his relationship with Aaron Rodgers or anyone in the front office at Green Bay. But I think what it just boils down to, he's a Bay Area kid, right? I think I can't confirm, but I'm sure he grew up rooting for the Raiders. playing in Oakland for most of their years before they switched over to Las Vegas. And also, obviously, his college teammate, Derek Carr, they had a good rapport, good relationship. He hadn't, in his 8 years in Green Bay, they haven't won a Super Bowl. So, not surprising for him to want to get into a different situation and see how that works out.
Yeah, I mean, the AFC West signings this past offseason have been absolutely bananas. Russell Wilson getting traded, DeMarcus Lawrence signing with the Cowboys and then just up and leaving the same day to go to the Broncos to join Russell Wilson. Yeah, J.C. Jackson and Khalil Mack joining the Chargers. Juju Smith just signed with the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Raiders getting Chandler Jones, Devante Adams, some other key signings. The AFC West this year is going to be absolutely crazy. I know the Raiders were projected to be last, and then I think it's probably the most interesting that Devonte gets traded there. Now they're one of the favorites to win the AFC West because they have a legitimate shot on
said
paper.
That?
A lot of people are saying the Raiders have a really good shot. I mean, listen.
Raider Nation Reddit thread, is that where you read that from?
I mean, possibly, but you got to look at it on paper. The Chargers adding Khalil Mack, is that really a huge signing? He hasn't been the same Khalil Mack since, he left the Raiders. J.C. Jackson, that's one of the best signings this offseason. He's a underrated shutdown corner. Juju Smith, in and out of, injuries, but the Chiefs have lost a lot of players and they haven't re-signed, Tyrann Mathieu, so their defense is kind of in shambles. And then you got the Broncos, who were ass cheeks last year. You add, obviously, Russell Wilson and, some defensive guys. But, I wouldn't say that there's any real powerhouse in the AFC West right now. They're kind of all got their pros and cons.
Yeah, it's a little bit more spread out, I'd say. But, Tyler, I got to ask you, and please answer this honestly. Are you more excited to have Devante Adams on the Raiders, or are you happier that you can just give me shit about it?
No, I am happier that Devante Adams is on the Raiders. I will say now, in my heart of hearts, Devante Adams is my number one receiver in the NFL, hands down, easily. There's no competition. He's the best wide receiver by far. And I'm excited for this to rejuvenate Derek Carr's career because I feel like this is what's been lacking in Derek Carr's developmental stages throughout his career, is having that go-to receiver that most quarterbacks often have. He had Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper had a lot of drop balls. Some would say Michael Crabtree. He really hasn't had a number one target. And, bringing in a guy like Devonte is going to truly change the offensive scheme with the Raiders, and now Josh McDaniels.
All Derek Carr need to rejuvenate his career is the best wide receiver in football.
and Jesus Christ.
And Jesus, well, he always needs his Lord and Savior. Mr. Wet chiming in. He just misspelled Devante Adams. I'm not sure what he meant by saying that. And then he said Khalil Mack stinks.
Khalil Mack is trash. I don't like him.
I mean, I could see him getting to more like a Von Miller role that, he had with the Rams, just coming in on those passing down situations. I mean, he's still a large man that can get in the backfield and sack the quarterback. I feel like no one's arguing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think having obviously Joey Bosa on the other side of the ball is going to help free up Khalil Mack a lot. So I don't think he's going to have issues, getting sacks. I just don't think he's the same Khalil Mack that would get to the quarterback in less than 2 seconds. Now, I know we talked a lot about signings last week. Did we even mention Von Miller? I forget who we all talked about. There were so many of them.
No, it definitely probably happened afterward. So, yeah, good segue.
Yeah, I mean, that was a huge signing by the Bills. Monster contract. I think it was, 4 years, 132 or something like that? Or
I want to say it was 6 years. Let me confirm, but it was like
6
something
years.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think it was 6 years. A great signing by the Bills. Like I said, their defense is now even more bolstered.
Yeah, 6 years, $120 million.
120. God, that guy got paid. He's 6 years. How old is he right now?
32.
So he's gonna be 38 years old. So that contract's that's his last contract ever in the NFL. There's no shot that even outplays that contract.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like the Rams kind of brought him in on more of a veteran pay. I mean, maybe he was just kind of swallowing his pride and his paycheck a little bit to go ring chasing, which I guess, worked out for him. You can't argue that. But
Well, didn't he get traded to the Rams?
yeah,
So
I'm
the
just
Rams
saying, I
have to
don't.
take his contract from the Broncos.
Okay.
The only person
Yeah, I
that
guess
got
that
a pay
makes
cut
sense.
was, I think, OBJ.
Okay. Either way, like, I don't know. Von Miller, one of the greatest pass rushers ever, probably. I just don't see at this point in his career that he's worth 6 years.
No.
120 million, like whatever. I don't know what the dollar is worth in the NFL these days with contracts. They just keep going up. Inflation and all that. But to lock someone down for 6 years at
20 mil a year.
his age, his position, like I don't know, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the Bills in this situation, I may have not went after a pass rusher. They have great elite pass rushers on their team already. Edmonds being one. I would actually spent the money 6 years, 120 on J.C. Jackson. That's who I would have went after if I was the Bills, because they got exposed very often throughout the whole entire season with their secondary. And,
Yeah.
adding a player of that caliber who's going to lock down the field in half, I think that would have, been a way bigger signing. But, kudos to Von Miller getting that bag. I mean, that's unreal at his age after winning the Super Bowl. That's his second Super Bowl now. So, I mean, the Bills really put
Hmm.
him in that position to maybe even win another one in the future.
Yeah, I mean the Bills. We talked about it. I think we were in agreement in saying the Bills are already one of the top, two, three teams in the AFC, if not the NFL. Von Miller definitely makes their team better. So if they can afford it and they're like, why not? I'm not gonna wait till he goes on sale. I want it now. I'm gonna pay full sticker price for it. Good for you. Um, Another big move, Tyler, that just happened today, right? Matt Ryan goes to
Yeah.
the Colts. Um, I couldn't think of a better fit for Matt Ryan or the Colts. I give this signing a A plus plus. Matt Ryan, later in his career, kind of looking for a home where he could probably have a few more years and go ring chasing himself. Have a team that's pretty well established around him. And I can't think of a better team, Tyler, that's better established at every position other than quarterback than the Colts. They got the best running back in the league. They got some stud wide receivers. Obviously, Pittman, T.Y. Hilton. We'll see what happens with him. Paris Campbell. I saw Pascal, I think, just signed with the Falcons.
The
And then
Eagles.
Eagles, okay. But then, on the defensive side of the ball, they got Buckner, right? And
Yep,
a bunch of
Leonard.
Leonard. I can't even think of them all. But obviously, they got a solid squad around them. What do you think about this move? What do you rate it? And like, are the Colts now the favorite in the AFC South?
Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't give this an A plus plus. I mean, the only reason why I wouldn't is because yeah, it's a great signing. You get a great caliber quarterback who's known to be consistent. But the problem is that the Colts are now the retirement home for, quarterbacks that have been in the league for a while. Obviously fostering in Phillip Rivers. They had Andrew Luck before him. Then they went to Carson Wentz, who, was not the greatest. Getting Matt Ryan, I mean, he probably has like 3-4 years left, which, yeah, is a long time. But at what point do the Colts like go on and move and get that next quarterback that's going to be their franchise quarterback for not 3 or 4 years, but 10 to 14 years, like a Peyton Manning-esque quarterback?
I
Um,
mean, you kind of answered the question yourself. They're probably scarred from Andrew Luck. Just like,
yeah.
we invested a first round pick in this guy. We thought he was their guy. He was doing great for the team, successful, and then he just like retires out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I love the move. Matt Ryan, there's no other place that would have made sense for him this offseason to go to. He's obviously not going to go to Seattle. He's obviously not going to go to Houston. The only place that made sense for him was Indianapolis. And yeah, I think he has a great line that's going to protect him, and he has a good shot of obviously winning the AFC South. I would say, the only team that's in their way would be the Texans at this point, or not the Texans,
Titans.
the Titans at this point. Excuse me. So, it puts him in a good situation, and it's nice to see for a guy who has been a trailblazer in the league for many years.
So, Tyler, I'm going to coin the Indianapolis Colts the shelter for quarterbacks of the NFL. Much like animal shelters foster in old dogs that just need a place to go until they kick the bucket. The Indianapolis Colts are like that for quarterbacks. Like you mentioned, they're just signing oldies and, giving them a good home until they decide it's time to hang up the cleats.
Yeah, it's like the New England Patriots being the shelter for white wide receivers.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it in the NFL, but you will make it on the New England Patriots. Win yourself a Super Bowl or two. Hell, you might even be
Yeah.
MVP.
Surprised the Pats didn't try to get Barrios this offseason.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I did see a video today, Austin Tom Brady posted on Instagram, him working out this offseason with Julian Edelman. A lot of comments saying, the boy's looking nice, Bucks. Are we going to sign him? So I wouldn't be surprised if Jules comes out of retirement to go ring chasing one more time with Brady.
I mean, as long as they have Copenhagen and strip clubs, I think Jules will will be
We
just
got a lot
fine.
of strip clubs, so.
Yeah. So some other news, Tyler. Your old friend Marcus Mariota signs with the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know what to make of this. Obviously, like he showed flashes when he was put in, in that, offensive set, where he's playing the kind of the wildcat quarterback for the Raiders. I'm not necessarily sold that he can be your guy, but at the same time, if you're looking for a cheap deal and you're gonna kind of like tuck your tail between your legs and just try to rebuild for a couple of years, probably a good choice.
I actually love this move by the Falcons. I think Mariota is a very good quarterback. I was rooting for him a lot to be a starter at some points for the Raiders when I was frustrated with Carr. But I think they did the right thing, 2-year deal. So what I foresee is that this year they're going to go after a quarterback in the draft, or even next year, have Mariota be the guy for a year or two, and groom their next quarterback that they get through the draft, whether it's Matt Corral or Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis even. I mean, there's a plethora of names that they could easily go after, and I think Mariota is a good option. He's been a starter in the league before. He's been successful. He's just been tarnished with injuries, and I think this is a good landing spot for him to rejuvenate his career. I think the scheme that the Falcons run is going to be a great scheme for him. Very run first kind of quarterback. This will allow him to move around in the pocket. They just need to get wide receivers for him to throw to at this point, because right now he's throwing to Zacchaeus or whatever their name is.
Yeah,
Obviously they have Pitts, but he can only do so much.
no, for sure. They did extend Cordell Patterson. They brought in Damian Williams, Tease Tabor. I remember that name. I'm pretty sure he's a corner out of Florida. They got him from the Bears. And they also stole one of your cornerbacks, Tyler. I didn't see this. Casey Hayward signed him to a 2-year, $11 million deal.
That's a big signing.
Yeah, that's definitely solid. An interesting one, I guess.
I think Hayward was like, I want to say top 3 last year in like ratings for cornerbacks. Like just being, I forget what rating it was, but I guess like
Yeah.
catches on him basically.
He's always been consistent. I mean, I was upset when the Packers let him go. Okay, I don't know how long ago this was, but Mr. Wet in chat is saying he fixed his spelling on Devonte. Thank you, Mr. Wet. Is he still a first rounder in fantasy? I feel the move drops him to late first, early second territory. No, I would definitely say.
Are we talking
Yeah,
Devonte?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
100% first round.
Well, obviously this depends on if it's PPR or not.
True.
Because in non PPR leagues, like I don't even know if he was a first rounder in general. But in PPR leagues, I'd say he's definitely a first rounder. I mean, you saw the targets and the receptions he's got. He'll get you 10 points off receptions in a game.
No, I
Especially with
mean,
Carr, who's, we call him the check down specialist, but,
yeah.
Devonte can break free from a defender, easily.
And he's great in the open field too. So even if he gets that, 5-yard slant across the middle, he can make another 10, 15 yards out of it, and you wouldn't even realize it. And Carr loves airmailing it. So as long as Devonte can run, Carr's gonna throw it up to you. Whether it gets to you or not, that's the question. But I
Yeah.
think personally he's a first round draft pick all day long, especially after the year he had this year, and also having Josh McDaniels at the helm, calling the plays, or being the head coach for one. I think he's gonna really do good for the Raiders.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Devonte known for his route running in his hands. Um, now he'll have to transition from a quarterback where Aaron Rodgers, Tyler, he was throwing bullets. He was throwing dimes out there, back shoulders. Whereas you said Carr, he kind of opts for more of that, like toss it up, let the receiver run underneath it, place it where he should go as opposed to where the wide receiver is. So definitely take an adjustment. But I mean, a guy of that caliber, I think he'll have no time, or excuse me, no problem.
I mean, they obviously did well back in college together. I think they went undefeated, or you know, they won their conference. And Carr had stupid stats at Fresno State, along with Devante Adams. So I'm sure they have a great chemistry together, and there's really nothing to worry about there.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I'm just going down this list, seeing if there's any other notable names that we missed since last week. Um, Bears, they're really stepping up their wide receiver game. They signed Byron Pringle and Equanimous St. Brown from the Packers. They also stole Lucas Patrick from the Packers. I didn't see that one.
Well,
Bang.
there was
Wait,
a big signing.
wait, what was this? Why does it say Bengals Michael Thomas? Is that legit?
Like wide receiver Michael Thomas.
Yeah. I just clicked on it and it brought me to his profile. Wait, what the fuck? Dude,
Oh,
CBS Sports is trolling us right now.
yeah, I don't see anything.
I mean, I gotta share the screen real quick. I'm sharing it with the chat. I'm sharing it with you right now. You see this? Cincinnati Bengals, Michael Thomas, 1 year, and then I click on it and it brings me to this profile. I mean,
Is there multiple Michael Thomases?
I I don't know. Let me type in Michael Thomas Bengals. That doesn't make any sense. Mike Thomas. Okay. What the fuck? CBS is trolling the shit out of me. I was like, bro, no way they signed him. I did not hear that at all.
Well, there was a big signing, or a big trade, we should say. Deshaun Watson finally
Yep.
found finally
Obviously, yep.
found a home. Choosing the Browns out of all places to find home really left, I would say, a bad taste in a lot of NFL players and teams' mouths, who thought they were in the race to win. Deshaun Watson. ATL thought he was going to come back home, play for the Falcons. The Panthers were in it for a little bit. The Saints were in it. Speaking of Michael Thomas, that's what reminded me of this. Michael Thomas put out a few
Mm-hmm.
tweets about Deshaun Watson not choosing them, which then led to the Saints re-signing Jameis to 2 years. So a lot of a butterfly effect, if you
Mm-hmm.
would, of things that happened after Deshaun Watson got traded for 3 first-round picks, and I think a fifth and a sixth in either this year or next year's draft, or 2024,
Mm-hmm.
for Deshaun in a fifth round. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, I guess good for him, in the sense that he didn't really lose any value over that past year. Um, they signed Cooper, right? They lost OBJ, Landry. I guess now they're saying they might sign Landry back.
They
Um,
have the best running back tandem in the league.
Best running back tandem in the league. 1A, 1B with,
Don't say
AJ and
it.
Aaron.
Don't say it.
uh,
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt are easily number one.
no, I'll give that to them. But it'll be interesting to see. They're in like a subpar division. Obviously, the Ravens were banged up last year. The
The
Bengals,
dumpster fire fucking division of the
well,
world.
the Bengals go to the Super Bowl, and then the Steelers, they're a quarterback away from having another solid team. So they're definitely going to have to get more help in for the skill positions, at least receivers. Bengals also signed Hayden Hurst, Tyler. That's a good pickup for.
Well, yeah, and they
for
also
Joey
got
B.
I think Lyle Collins went through today, the
Oh yeah,
signing out of
yeah.
the Cowboys. They've added
That line is
their
like
line, and that was their biggest issue last
Lyle
year was their
Collins,
line.
Alex Kappa, Ted Karras.
Yeah, like that line last year was the reason why the Bengals lost a lot of those games they shouldn't have lost. Protecting Joe Burrow. If I'm Joe Burrow this offseason, I'm fucking thinking, man, I love this team. We went to the Super Bowl and now they get me a whole new line. Like, this is great.
I mean, like everyone's saying that was kind of a fluke, and we'll probably never see them back again with Mahomes and Allen still in the AFC. But Bengals are saying, hey, we were there for a reason, and we're gonna keep getting better.
And they signed Mike Thomas. That's huge.
Yeah, Michael Thomas. Now they have four fucking great wide receivers. That would be insane. Like you can't even have that many good receivers. Like they already have Chase, Boyd, and Higgins.
They would have had to trade like Boyd and Higgins and like a first rounder for Michael
Yeah,
Thomas. But even then, Jamar Chase and Michael Thomas, that would be
that'd be crazy.
spooky for Suzuki. Um, but no, I mean that division, it's definitely going to be interesting. Like you said, Lamar Jackson's coming back, full health, hopefully. The Steelers, they have Trubisky. How is he going to translate to being a starting quarterback again? Plus their defense. So I think that the AFC North is pretty much anybody's division to win or lose. I think at this point.
Yeah. So Tyler, I'm scrolling down this list, and every team has like close to 10 probably signings or
Yeah.
trade acquisitions. I get to the Packers. There's four names on their list. Three of them, Robert Tonyan, Devondre Campbell, Rasul Douglas, guys that they just re-signed, and they're only signing from another team. Pat O'Donnell, a punter from the Chicago Bears. So clearly,
Hey,
either
special teams is important.
as I know, and all Packers fans know, very important. Fucking get a punt blocked in the goddamn playoffs and lose to the freaking 49ers. Anyways, either
You
they
got
have
Rich
something up.
Bisaccia too.
Yeah, no, that's a solid move, but they have to have something up their sleeves, Tyler, because if not, we're trending in the wrong direction.
What's the cap situation looking like for the Packers since you didn't sign Devonte?
I mean, they have what, $200 million they can sprinkle around as need be.
I mean, speaking of the Pack, the Raiders signed former Packers great Kyler Fackrell today. I thought that
Okay.
was a huge signing. A very good linebacker who, hasn't really been much since he left the Packers, but we're just loading up on Packers players. I love it.
Packers are like the Android of the NFL, and then every other team is like Apple. Like we draft guys, develop them, and they're good, and then like other teams just take them and use them to the best of their abilities and win Super Bowls with them. Meanwhile, we can't get past the fucking NFC Championship.
You're kind of salty, aren't you, at this point?
Oh yeah, a little bit. Same
Because
old story. It's like, looking forward to next season. This year's different, but probably not.
you just fall in love with the players. Oh man, I remember when Kyler was just a baby.
I try not to. I mean, shit, Devonte was one guy. I'm like, there's no way we let him leave ever. We're keeping Rodgers for his career. We're gonna keep Devonte. Um, but yeah, I guess things change, people change. Wait, how's it go?
Feelings change.
Things change, people change, feelings change too. Yeah, something like that. I think it's a Party Next Door song.
I mean, what's the worst one that the Packers have let get away for you? For you,
Other than Devonte,
is it Devonte? Is that number one?
I would say so. Yeah. Other than that, like Micah Hyde definitely hurt back in the day. He was coming off of a career year, and they're just like, "Oh, we don't want to pay this guy." Um, let him go to Buffalo, where he's now having an All-Pro career. Casey Hayward was up there. Um, I can't really think of any others, honestly. Like, yeah, Devonte, clear cut, probably the one that hurt the most.
Shame.
He was my guy. I saw him. I remember watching his videos when the draft was coming up, and before the Packers even drafted him, they were just like on the website. They would, give these like names, like spotlight guys that the Packers might target. And I saw Devante Adams. I was watching his Fresno State tape. I was like, yo, this guy is filthy. If they draft him, I'll be lit. sure enough, what happens? They get him. Obviously he's a stud, and now it's like watching my child go off to college and just leave the house, never to return.
How mad are you gonna be if the Raiders win a Super Bowl with Devonte?
Um, I'll be I'll be 87% mad and then 13% happy for Devonte that he gets a ring.
And 0% happy for Tyler that the Raiders won a Super Bowl in this lifetime.
Correct.
Austin's one words as soon as Devontae went to the Raiders, and he goes, "Of course, it's to the fucking Tyler's favorite team."
It just had to be. This guy has been chirping me the whole time. He gives me shit. We go back and forth, Packers, Raiders, this and that. My favorite player goes to his team, and it's like loading your enemy with, equipping them with arsenal. An endless amount of infinite ammo, weapons, and just all things that can make you hurt on the inside, and it's gonna suck. Like, it hit the point the other day. I had a shit ass Thursday, and this is gonna be our segue into March Madness. I woke up at 6:30, like 5 hours of sleep. I took my roommate to the airport. Couldn't fall back asleep before work. I was dragging all day. This Devante Adams news comes out of nowhere. Fucking donkey kicks me in the dick. I'm sitting there at work trying to fight back tears. And then I'm like, all right. Like, half hour later, the Yukon Huskies are playing in March Madness. I'm like, please, just salvage any kind of fucking happiness I have left in my body right now. What happens? They get upset by a goddamn 12 seed. This fucking no-name drops 37 points on them to get to the next round and just lose. It was a hell of a day. And after all, it was St. Patrick's Day. That's the one day of the year I don't feel like an asshole for having fucking orange in my beard, and I couldn't even be happy about it. Golly.
You didn't wear any green, right? You didn't wear any of your Packers green.
Not Packers green, thankfully, but I was wearing green. I had the Kelly Green consequential clothing shirt on. Representing for the only thing that won't fucking screw me over.
It's funny because Thursday was such a good day for me. I had an incredible Thursday. St. Patty's Day was awesome. Ended the day with, Devontae going to the Raiders, and then got myself some Taco Bell. UConn lost. Austin was upset. It was top 5 days of my life, honestly.
Nice. Nice. I'm happy for you, man. I really am. Let's give it a round of applause for Tyler. Had a great fucking day. He sucked up all my happiness. Well, like I said, as I mentioned, we will segue over. I'm going to pull it up for the viewers at home. I'll share the screen with you, Tyler. March Madness.
How we doing?
The no-look bracket is absolutely a shit show. We are in the 53rd percentile.
I'll take it.
We're in the better half, I guess we'll say, right?
Yeah.
However, we do only have 380 points thus far, and we can only get a max of 860 points. 2 out of our final four teams are out, Baylor and Tennessee. One being our national champion, and the other 2, Gonzaga and Kansas. They got a road in front of them to get there. I mean, let's start right here in the West bracket. Gonzaga over Georgia State. Not much. Gonzaga over Memphis.
Wait, is this ours?
Yeah.
I thought we had UConn. Oh, yeah, we did.
Well, we got them the first round, and then we had them lose.
I swore I had them losing in the first round.
No, if you watch it back, I said we did the coin flip, and I'm like, you're a fucking asshole. And then I won the coin flip, and I said, thank God. If we had them lose in first round, I would have been pissed at you.
Okay.
So as you can see, UConn loses. Shocker there, Tyler. I think this is one of those upset games I wanted to pick. Alabama ends up losing. Texas Tech. Notre Dame played them well. Michigan State. I called this one though. Coach K versus Izzo, and Duke barely survives past Michigan State. We got Duke, Texas Tech, Gonzaga, Arkansas.
Well, we got the Sweet 16. I'm happy about that.
We did get the Sweet 16 perfect for this region. Any super shockers? Super shockers? That sounds weird saying. Anything that was very surprising for you out of this? Notre Dame upset. Texas Tech, they're looking strong right now.
I'm honestly not surprised at Notre Dame upsetting. They always have like a strong team. They're coached really well. I forget what the coach's name is, but honestly, the biggest
Yeah.
shocker for me was, I don't want to say biggest shocker because I had New Mexico State winning, but UConn losing as a 5 seed, I think that's definitely tough. Um, that's such a upset seed right there. That 5 seed, that 5 and 7 seed are usually the ones that get upset the most. But New Mexico State really putting out and then just getting absolutely, no offense whatsoever against Arkansas. You love to see it.
I mean, yeah, like I said, that one guy had literally 37 points in that opening game, and then the team combined had 48 in the next game.
I
But
will say a lot of close scores in the first round. Gonzaga was holding on for dear life against Georgia
mhm.
State. Arkansas barely escapes from Vermont by 4. Texas Tech obviously beat it by a lot. Michigan State wins by 1 against Davidson. So,
Mhm.
a lot of close games in the first round.
Obviously, Gonzaga's still alive. Well, actually, Tyler, I think I know why we did well in this one because the 1 through 4 seeds are all still alive in this region. That makes sense. So Texas Tech looked good. Gonzaga's still alive, but I mean, it almost seems picture perfect, like a movie script. That Coach K, he's in the Sweet 16 right now. Everything's playing out perfectly. Who do you think is the top team in this region right now?
I hate to say Gonzaga because they definitely don't look like it. But I'm still not sold on a lot of the teams to really go as far as Gonzaga can.
Hmm.
I want to say Duke because it's Coach K's last year, but I don't think that they have a well balanced. They have a good team, but I don't think they're a well balanced team that has that caliber of winning. So I would say for sure my number one out of this one would be Gonzaga.
I might have
And
to
I hate
disagree
saying it.
with you.
I don't feel good about it.
Yeah. I mean, this next game will be a very good tell. Playing Arkansas, definitely the best competition thus far in the tournament. A lot is said about Gonzaga playing in the WCC or whatever the conference is, not facing that good a competition. Arkansas has proven that they are a worthy competitor. So, if they can go out and handle these guys, then I'll give them some credit. But for me personally, it's got to be Duke. Coach K, these guys rally around him. He's like a father figure to him. Paolo, the other two guys, I mean, they have what, 3 projected lottery picks starting for the Blue Devils. I think the other two guys are probably going to go in the first or second round. They clearly got to be the favorites for me. And let's just hop over right here, the South region. Arizona's still going strong here. Houston's still going strong. Two handy. They won handily over UAB, Illinois. I guess an upset, if you could say, Tyler. Michigan. They beat Colorado State. They end up beating Tennessee in the round of 32. I mean, is this a credit to like their team, their talent, or are they just out here as coach, Juwan Howard, excuse me. Why did I say Juan? Juwan Howard.
With the sombrero.
Is he out here, just showing people like, hey, you mess with the bull, you get the horns, whether that be on the court or with these fucking fists?
Yeah, I mean, I think this team is a good team anyways, but the fact that they're playing as underdogs, they're out here to prove people wrong and obviously having that angst, I guess you could say for Coach Howard, you know, being the underdog, but also having so much animosity and problems this season. They have a lot to prove, and they're definitely showing it. I mean, that's a big win against Tennessee. Obviously, we had them winning the whole entire thing.
Hmm.
Um, Colorado State, that was a pretty decent win. A lot of people weren't sure how Michigan would match up, but this is a team to watch out for. If I'm Villanova, I'm scared to face this Michigan team.
Hmm.
They're definitely coming for blood.
No, for sure. A couple of good matchups. Michigan, Villanova. Arizona looking hot right now, Tyler. They survived an overtime thriller against TCU. They got to be my favorite in this region. Benedict, or Ben as they call him, I forget his last name. It's like something with an M. projected lottery pick, 6'7" shooting guard, small forward. Dude had like 33 points, hit a huge three at the end of regulation to tie the game. He's just cold blooded, and I just think that his experience and overall athletic ability should help the Arizona Wildcats advance.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. I hate being the pick all the one seeds, but I think Arizona has the best shot.
Yeah.
I think if they beat Houston, it's definitely them, for sure. Because I think Houston's probably the toughest out of the four teams or the three teams besides Arizona, in this region to face going into the Elite Eight. So, yeah, I think Gonzaga, Arizona, in the top half of the bracket are gonna move
Hmm.
on to the Final Four.
Well, agree to disagree in the first region, but coming down here, Tyler, Baylor, they lost to North Carolina. I kind of saw that coming. I think if you remember, I said how interesting would it be if Coach K plays North Carolina in the Final Four. Can't have his last game against the Tar Heels end in a loss. Other than that, St. Mary's took care of business. UCLA, not a lot of talk about them. I mean, they took down the 5 seed St. Mary's by almost 20 points. Close first round game against Akron. Now they get the Tar Heels.
Which I
Kind
feel
of a
like we
sleeper
see
number
every
four here
year.
seed. Yeah, I mean,
UCLA versus North Carolina every single year.
and it's usually in this bracket too. I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah, but UCLA, I think did they make it to the Final Four last year as like an 11 seed or
I
something
think so. Cause
crazy?
yeah, like Juzang was having like a crazy year last year.
Hmm.
No, they brought back a lot of the same players that they had from last year. I think they're gonna be, a very good team to beat in this part of the region now with Baylor out.
Hmm.
So I think it's theirs to lose at this point. Them and Purdue, I would say.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Purdue, they're going up against the Cinderella team. I mean, clearly of this NCAA March Madness tournament. 15 seed St. Peter's, Tyler. Have you heard of St. Peter's? I mean, you're kind of a Jersey boy somewhat.
Yeah.
Um, have you heard of them before?
Never heard of them. And Austin, I've dug myself into a rabbit hole with St. Peter's.
Okay.
Absolutely electric. They have 3,000 students in their whole entire college. And on paper, statistically, this matchup, Kentucky versus St. Peter's, is the biggest upset in
Mm,
NCAA tournament history. The mere fact that St. Peter's spends $1.6 million a year on their basketball program with Kentucky's $18.3 million a year. The average student 3,000 versus Kentucky has thousands of students, probably tens of thousands of students. They also have St. Peter's no ranked players on their team.
mm.
So they had no 3 stars, 2 stars, 1 stars. They had nobody was ranked. Kentucky has obviously your fives, your fours, your 3 stars. And I will say the last time a New Jersey team went to the Sweet 16, Austin, it was Seton Hall,
Okay.
back in the 90s. And do you want to take a guess at who their point guard was? The head coach of St. Peter's right
Oh
now.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I had no idea. My brain
yes,
was like,
yeah. So St. Peter's. This team it's a Cinderella for sure. And how amazing would it be to be Purdue and then
mm.
face a 8 or a 4 seed in the Elite Eight?
Stat man. Yeah, that's T. Thanks for the stats there, honey. I mean, yeah, they already took down a number 2 seed, so what's a number 3 seed to them?
They
Um,
own the state of Kentucky, baby.
yeah, clearly. I mean, incredible run they're on right now. The guy Doug on their team, he's turned into a viral meme, and deservedly so. It'll be interesting, Tyler. I think my gut, if I had to bet on it, I would still pick Purdue, but
Mm.
every ounce of my body is going to be rooting for St. Peter's to advance.
Yeah, I think everybody's rooting for St. Peter's, but knows that Purdue has that great team. I mean, Ivy, he's a projected top 10 pick in the NBA draft this upcoming season.
Hmm.
I was watching them a little bit against Texas, and Texas was god awful to watch, by the way. But Purdue,
Yeah.
they play good defense and they can score the ball. So I think it's going to be a great game. A lot of it's all heart in this part of the tournament, and St. Peter's has a lot of it. And Doug, We rocking with Doug because Doug's rocking with us.
Yeah. Invited to the cookout. Um, yeah, I feel like this is always the chaos bracket.
Yes.
And this one, not short of chaos, either. Obviously, the big one in the first round, first day, first hours, really, one of the first few games of the tournament. Iowa goes down to Richmond, Tyler. We didn't have them going too far in our bracket. In my personal brackets, I had them going quite far in most of them. Kansas still alive, taking care of business. Providence, they're showing why they, won the Big East title throughout the regular
Shout out
season.
Foxy Lady.
Shout out Foxy Lady. Shout out Sonny. Iowa State, a little bit of an upset. We picked them over LSU. Bigger upset against Wisconsin. And then, a pretty big upset. Number 10, Miami over 2 Auburn. So this is the only
And I'm pissed
bracket,
about that
Tyler.
one, Austin, because we said
We coin
Miami at
flipped it.
first and then we switched it.
Did we?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
now that I'm remembering it, Tyler, I think I said Miami, and then you were like, "Oh, I like Bruce Pearl. I want to go with Auburn."
No. I'm saying the USC Miami game. I said initially, we both said at Miami. I think you did, and I was like, you know what, switch it. I like USC on this one because of
Oh,
Mobley's brother, and I was thinking about that one game when USC lost to Miami. I was like, fuck, we had Miami too.
right. Okay, I hear you out now. That'll be interesting. Cyclones versus the hurricane. There's a lot of weather going on down there. Make
A
sure,
lot of heat in the air.
yeah, make sure you get down in the cellar where it's safe. I I mean, so I guess we'll end on what are we thinking for now the updated brackets? Let's give our updated Final Four. I'll go first. Out of this region, I'm gonna pick Duke. I'm gonna go with Arizona in the South. I think I'm gonna have to say UCLA, Tyler, in the East, and then let me go with something crazy. I'll say Iowa State. We need some diversity in there.
Okay. Well, first one, I'm gonna go Gonzaga, obviously on that one. Then I'm gonna go Arizona. I think Arizona's gonna beat Michigan in the Elite Eight to go on to the Final Four. Then I think in the East bracket, I gotta go with Purdue. I think it's gonna be Purdue versus North Carolina. They're gonna edge North Carolina in that game. And then in the Midwest, I'm going to go with Providence to win, to go to the
Oh
Final
wow.
Four. Shout out Foxy Lady. I barely see them beating Kansas. And then I think it's going to be a free-for-all for whoever wins that weather matchup in the Sweet 16 versus Miami and Iowa State.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's lived up to its nature. March Madness has been quite mad. This year it just feels good to have it back, Tyler. Last year we had like the COVID tournament. It's just a lot better with the fans. You get to go to these different locations, spread out across the country, give people the opportunity to go spectate these events. They're
Well, it's different because the atmosphere when you don't have fans in there, it's
right.
like the favorites are gonna win. But when you have those fans, the whole mindset of the game changes. It's anybody's game to win or lose.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, I still think I forget your opinion on the argument. I know I think Ben and someone else were like, "What are you talking about?" But I think this is the best sporting event in all of sports.
I think it's up there. I think number one for me has to be the first week of the NFL being back.
See, that doesn't even compare though. You just like I enjoy that more. I for sure enjoy NFL Week 1 more. We've been waiting all summer. We get to look at our favorite teams, our fantasy guys are in action. But as far as like the comprehension of how just outrageous this is to organize all these different schools, have them travel, playing teams that they otherwise would never play out of conference, this and that, small schools, little schools, like you said, given St. Peter's, you know, a chance that 3,000 students, right, at the university playing against Kentucky, which is, BBN, Basketball Nation, one of the best teams in the nation.
That needs to change.
What?
That BBN. I mean, you lose to a 15 seed, you just can't say that anymore.
That's a tough look. I think they're still kind of struggling the hangover of the Drake curse.
Yeah. Oof. And it's sad because they have like great players that come through Kentucky, and yet they still can't even win. When's the last time Kentucky won the national championship? Did they beat UConn, or was that other way around?
UConn beat them. They did win. Did Anthony Davis win?
Anthony Davis did win.
Yeah,
yes.
So like 14, maybe 15.
Oh, so it was after UConn.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I remember it was like around that time when UConn was like always going.
No, right, because 14 was UConn. So, wait, when did list of Pornhub don't pop up?
List of pepperoni nipples.
March Madness winners.
Best porn stars.
Giant areolas and soft feet. I'm going to say 2015. No. 2012. Wow. Okay.
Damn. So, against Kansas.
So it was right in between the two Connecticut championships. Because, right, I'm like thinking like Anthony Davis, when was he even playing there? Yes, they only have one win, but they're perennial Final Four teams, right? National championship appearances.
Yeah, but 10 years? Can't be calling yourself Basketball Nation. I mean, you want to talk about Basketball Nation, you could talk about Villanova. They have 2. Even Connecticut has 2 or ish.
Well, look at the most since '99. 1, 2, 3, 4. UConn, baby.
I think someone else has more than that, but okay.
No, I don't think so.
What? North Carolina? Florida has 2 right there, but that's about it.
I mean, I'm inflating the numbers because I said since '99. If I had said since 2000.
Well, they played in St. Petersburg, Florida? 99? Yeah. Where the fuck did they play in St. Pete?
I have no idea.
At the fucking Dolly Museum?
Neither do you, because you weren't a Florida resident at that time.
I was barely a fucking resident of the United States at that
time. Dude's head was still way too big for his body. He was just fucking crawling around.
My head was in PA, but my fucking body was in fucking, I don't even know, the hot tub.
Duke had 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Who else did you say Florida had 2?
No, Florida only had 2. I don't know. I guess you're right.
North Carolina, 1, 2. They only had 2. Yeah, 4 since '99. T. That's BBN status right there.
That's BBN and BBL, baby.
Ooh, I knew he was gonna say that one. I like him thick.
Just hope Drake doesn't come through.
Drake, yeah, right. He's banned from stores and Hartford, Connecticut. He's not allowed.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
So that's it, Tyler. I will end on this question. We are going, for the viewers, we're going to Nashville for our boys' bachelor party on Thursday. Tyler, who do you think will be drunker, you or myself?
Definitely you.
Okay.
100%. I mean, quickest, probably me. But drunkest
overall,
most often, Austin, 100%.
I'll be up at 3 a.m. watching That's My Boy with a fucking fresh White Claw and a fucking vape
Austin's
on my lips.
Austin's gonna be on his phone. Well, Austin, you're gonna be 2 time zones ahead, so you're gonna be on your phone at 3 a.m. thinking it's 1, watching Devante Adams highlights from when he was a Packer.
Actually, doesn't sound too far off. But anyways, it'll be fun. It'll be exciting. I think that's all I got. You got anything else you want to add?
Go Raiders.
All right. Anything but that. Anyways, I'll be right back with Monday Night Gaming. I'm going to be playing the new season of Fortnite. They took out building. Woo! So definitely a different gameplay. I had some fun with it yesterday. We're gonna check it out, see what happens. Hops. So many hops. See what happens. Scotty Hobson's. Yeah, so stay tuned. I'm going to end the stream, kick it back on, take a piss.